Welcome to the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Football, rankings, debates, dad stuff with your host, Justin Williams and Matt Renshaw.
And welcome everybody to this edition of the Dynasty Dads. I am your host, Justin Williams, and with me as always, my buddy Matt Renshaw. How you doing, Matt?
Hi. 2 weeks in a row, no nickname for me. I'm good
No,
with
you
that.
don't get them anymore.
I'm okay. I am totally fine with that because I don't know what a skirt is.
Everybody knows what
That is not true.
If you're not going to say it like that, then you can't say it at all. So,
No one knows what that means.
oh, people know what it means.
Okay, well, if you're listening and you know what that means, hit us up on Twitter because I don't know what that means.
As always, our Twitter handle is at Dynasty Dads. You can also look us up on iTunes. We are at Dynasty Dads there as well. We are looking for more reviews on iTunes. That's something that we're going to be aiming for. We do appreciate all the 5 stars that we've been getting.
That's right.
But we'd like to have a few more comments. We want people to know exactly what we are about.
I like Justin's nicknames for Matt.
And actually, you know what we're going to start doing?
What do we start doing?
Every week, if we have a 5-star review plus a comment, we're going to read it on the air.
All right.
So if you're funny, humorous, got something to plug, go ahead and
Yeah.
leave us a
That's
review, leave us
fair.
a comment, and
Yeah.
we'll read it on the air. It'll
Some
be
free promotion there for you.
top of the show, too. Promise.
There you go.
You have my word, Scout's honor, and I wasn't even a scout.
Great idea. I wasn't a scout either. I don't know if I could have. My sister was a Girl Scout.
Okay.
Great cookies. I was never a
Great
scout.
cookies. They make the best cookies.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, I can't tie a knot to save my life. I'm going to be completely honest.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
So, Matt, how was your week?
Kid stories?
Okay, sure.
Was not what? Oh, well, my week was great.
I don't care
Valentine's
anymore.
Day.
Past it.
Shut up.
Tell your kid story.
Valentine's Day was good. Kid story. So I thought of you this weekend, and
Can't blame you.
oh well, it was awkward. When I tell you why, you'll think it's weird.
I doubt it.
My 2-year-old is potty trained, but she had an accident, and it wasn't the good kind of accident. It was the worst kind of accident when she's napping and she pooped in her underwear. And I'm cleaning.
We've all been there, man.
I'm cleaning up the underwear, and I'm going, don't get any on your hands. Do the Justin.
Yeah.
Don't get any on your hands. I can honestly say I didn't get any on my hands. I didn't touch anything. Nothing got on me. So I thought of you while I was cleaning out my daughter's dirty training pants.
I think of that conversation every time I change a diaper now, and I do it, and I when I'm changing her diaper and it's like a really bad one, I think to myself like, this just must be what like Barry Sanders felt like whenever he
Get
like
outta
juked
here.
somebody out, or
No.
like Peyton Manning felt like when he threw a touchdown. Like this just must be what greatness feels like. It's just you don't
I
even
don't believe
realize.
you. I don't believe that you've never had poop on you, on your hands, on your shirt, whatever. Like,
Well, you know me, I'm like a business kind of guy, and I'm always thinking like that.
Entrepreneur.
And so I was thinking like, man, there must be a way I should capitalize on this. If I'm so good at this, I need to be making money on it.
oh man.
I need to figure out like some kind of guide on how to wipe a bottom.
Williams University on how to change diapers.
There has to be something. A YouTube series,
There you go.
a book.
Find some advertising.
I'm thinking.
What do you got? Anything? I mean, I can tell another one
Oh, for kid stories?
for kid stories.
I actually have a heartbreaking story for
Oh,
you.
no.
I hate to bring down
Carson
the,
or
the show.
Carly?
It's Carson. It's Carson.
Did he get his crown removed?
No.
Okay.
No, he's the next Michael Jordan.
All right.
King James,
only in
AI.
Glenwood though.
Yeah. That's the caveat. He has to play there. So there's only one more game left for Carson for basketball season.
Gotcha.
This Saturday, and he keeps calling it the championship game. There's absolutely nothing on the line. But he keeps telling everybody that he's talked to that he has a championship game on Saturday.
Right.
And they always look at us puzzled, and we just give him the old, yeah,
Yeah, we do.
absolutely. Just nod your head.
That's right.
So we got a letter or an email from the local YMCA saying, hey, we got some new sports coming up. It's time for soccer season or flag football.
All right.
Last year, Carson played flag football. He hasn't played soccer for years.
That's
Soccer
right.
was his very first sport when he was, I think, 3, 4,
Okay.
really little.
Yeah, just chase the ball around.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And so his mom asked him at dinner one night. She goes, "Hey, so Carson, you got soccer and flag football. Which one did you want to do?"
Oh no!
Didn't miss a beat. Soccer. Played flag football last year. We thought he loved it. Played 2 seasons of it straight.
Yeah.
Thought he loved it. Talked about it. We bought him some nice gloves.
That's right.
Yeah. New football. He got new football
monster.
he got a new football for Christmas.
He wants to play soccer.
And he said soccer.
Oh.
And his mom and I just look at each other like, what in the world? And like we didn't say it. We were like, okay,
Right.
yeah, you got it. Sure.
Right. You want to play soccer?
And then I asked him, I was like, I thought you liked football. Nah, I don't like football.
what?
I about died. I about fell out of my chair.
No way.
I choked on whatever I was eating for dinner.
No. He doesn't like football?
He says he doesn't like, you know how
Well, yeah, but
7-year-olds,
I mean-
they love and hate so quick. But a piece of me died.
Ouch.
I haven't been able to shake it.
I don't know what I would. I have girls, so I don't ever have to worry about that, I guess.
I've lost sleep. I'm not eating like I used to.
Yeah. You usually come in here with a iced tea from somewhere. We got nothing tonight.
No, I have nothing.
Ouch. I'm sorry.
I've been shaking ever since.
I bet. Carson in 20 years is going to look back on this and realize, like,
Oh, he's gonna hear this.
I'm sure he is. He'll
He's gonna
listen to
hear
this
this.
podcast and, ouch.
So you got another story?
I got another. Well, my 2-year-old's getting really good with words, but she's 2 and she can't really say everything. So she likes to do puzzles. She's been calling it a cuzzle, which is
Sure.
whatever, because you're 2 and you can't say all your letters. So my my mother-in-law is trying to teach her puzzle. She goes puzzle, and my daughter went puzzle, and she just can't shake that C. So the other night I was working. I told my wife, I said, "Don't worry, I got this. I can train her to say puzzle." And I started her to just say puzz, like just P-U-Z-Z, and then Zol, and then added on. And I got her to say puzz for a few times, and then Mom, I said, I got her, Britt, come here, check it out. So Brittany comes over, I say, Kyla, say puzz. And she looks at me, plain face, like only a 2-year-old can, and goes, no. And I said, what? I said, just say puzz. And she looks at me, and she looks at Mom, and then she looks back at me and goes, no. And she did, so she didn't do it. I can't prove to my wife that I am in the process of teaching her how to say puzzle.
I can't wait for those days.
Oh, with a girl, I mean,
With a girl,
I
yeah.
can see it.
Carson was
12
easy.
years in the future, I'll just see this face, and I'll know that this is the no face. You've got a girl, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, yeah. I feel like she already has a bit of a personality on her, but
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one of our buddies, I know he listens to the show, just found out today that he is having a girl. So congrats, Matt, on your future daughter that's coming, and just found out today. So I thought that would be kind of cool.
Yep, hopefully it's his. So we have a special guest. We have a special guest today.
We do.
It's Brandon Sysak. Thank you.
Yes.
Brandon Sysak. And
Who is a contributor on our website.
absolutely a brand new contributor.
Brand new.
Yeah, we're going to have him on shortly. Can't wait to talk to him.
Looking forward
And
to this.
The overall theme of today is going to be bounce back guys.
Yep, guys that had down years that we think.
Last night
the
took an
the
L,
three
but
of us.
tonight I bounce back. It's a rap song.
Is that with the skeet skeet or the
No,
zerk
not
zerk or whatever
skeet.
it was?
What year are you in? It's
What was- Yeah, that whatever that was.
Jeez.
Did they dab in that?
Holy smokes.
Anyway, bounce backs. The three of us who we think will bounce back after a down year. And who even sings the song that you quoted? That?
Dude, they're all saying it now. And when I say they, I mean like rappers in general, like the hip
I
hop.
teach in a high school. Like you would think I would hear these things. I don't hear any of that.
I listen to some pretty hood rat stuff. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I don't hear
Kodak
that.
Black. No, nothing.
I know who Kodak Black is. I couldn't name one of his
do
songs.
you?
I know that he's a artist. That's what I know about Kodak Black. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Artist is probably a little loose.
I know he produces music. So
Well, this show's already off the rails. That
that's
didn't
all right.
take long.
No one knows what we're talking about.
So we're gonna take a quick break, Matt, and when we come back, we are gonna hopefully have Brandon Sysak.
Sysak.
It's a fun name.
That
to
is
say.
fun.
We're gonna have him on the line, so stay tuned.
Looking for your next favorite podcast? One that will teach you how to make millions with Bitcoin, help you lose those extra stubborn pounds, or make your spine tingle with a murder mystery? Stop searching and let Potable do the work. Potable is the only podcast player that learns what you love and recommends podcasts just for you. Import your favorites automatically and instantly discover new ones. Find your next favorite podcast today by visiting us at Podable.co or download our app in the iOS App Store. That's Podable, P-O-D-I-B-L-E, and discover your story.
All right, welcome back. We have a special guest with us today. It is Brandon Sysak. And Brandon can be found at Brandon Sysak. It's S-Y-S-A-K on Twitter. Has a ton of followers over there. Seems to know his stuff. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Living the dream, buddy.
Yeah.
We're living the dream. So, Brandon, I understand you're a Lions fan.
Yeah. Born and raised in Michigan.
Why is it whenever I ask about Lions fans, they always sound so depressed about it? I don't get it.
I'm yet to meet a person that has chosen to be a Lions fan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know of any.
That's true.
I mean, Brandon's the only one that I know of.
No, it's factually correct. No, but I like the Lions. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I think they can make a deep run in the playoffs this year. Good coaching staff now in order. You got Matt Stafford, who I think is underrated.
2 or 3 pretty good wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean they got a nice team. I think.
Anyway, you cut the man off when he was doing his intro, right?
Oh, did I? I'm sorry, Brandon.
Yeah. Born and raised in Michigan.
Born and raised in Michigan.
Yeah, I born and raised in Michigan. I relocated to the Cincinnati area about 2 years ago with my wife. My wife Anna, and now that I live down here, I have a full-time job and I do all this writing and sports stuff on the side. And
yeah, very nice. You have any kids?
No kids.
Lucky son of a...
Yeah. Enjoy that while you can.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, one of the things that we really wanted to talk about today are bounce back candidates. Okay. Do you happen to have anything in mind? Anything pop up for you?
Yeah, I wrote down a few names that I think could bounce back after I looked at some numbers to see some players that their rankings and fantasy numbers went down in 2017. Some players like Mike Evans, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota. I think those are my big 3 players that are looking to bounce back. And I think a couple different players based on some circumstances could bounce back. Like a T.Y. Hilton, I think is a big buy low candidate.
Oh, absolutely.
I was like, you hit a few of my guys just off the top of your head there.
Marcus Mariota had a lot of hype building into last year, and I'm not sure if that was warranted or not, but he definitely disappointed. I know he was taken pretty highly in a lot of startups. Yeah,
that smash mouth exotic offense that Mike Mularkey was running wasn't really exotic.
Yeah, it just didn't work out.
No.
What do you think of a guy like who just was recently cut, Doug Martin?
I think he is someone that could bounce back. I think it really depends on where he ends up. I've heard a lot of rumors of him going to Detroit as a fill-in running back. I feel like that's the best spot for him, is going to a team that's going to use him as part of a committee to be that early down back, or maybe even just a goal line back. But I think he'll find a role in a team that has multiple running backs and can use him in short yardage situations.
Or as a Lions fan, would you be happy with that?
If we don't draft Darius Geis in the first round, I'm okay with that. I would prefer Geis, but
I think everybody would.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think most people would. Yeah, Doug Martin I was super high on Doug Martin last year.
Man crush on him.
Had a total man crush on him, and then he just disappointed. After that first week that he came back, he looked really good, looked strong, looked in the best shape of his life, and then it just fell off. Lost his job to Peyton Barber.
Yeah,
that's saying a lot. It really is.
I had him in a couple of my leagues, and I waited for him after that 4-game suspension, and he paid off really well those first couple of weeks. But like you said, he just
fell off. Hey, in your article, you wrote sophomore slump or permanent problems.
And that's on dynastydads.com right now.
Yep. You mentioned Dak Prescott. Tell me a little bit about it.
Dak Prescott was somebody that came on the scene hot, wasn't really expected to do anything his rookie year in 16, and was a highly rated quarterback. Finished 2017 as the He finished 2016 as the 6th overall quarterback in most formats. So he really was somebody that a lot of people were expecting a lot from in 2017. But he, fell off when Ezekiel Elliott went out and their left tackle went out. And he saw a big dip once both those players were gone. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be looking lower on him for this upcoming season, but I think people shouldn't expect that bad performance to be his year next year. I see him bouncing back and being a player like he was his rookie year.
I like him as a top 10 QB coming up. I mean, and Dynasty is different than redraft, but I think Dallas figures out the offense and maybe gets rid of Dez and then figures out some wide receivers that can play with Dak. I mean, I like it. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm kind of biased here, but I think having Zeke a full year, getting the line squared away, I have a feeling that they're going to address the line somewhere in the draft, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I expect them to do is to figure out what they're going to do with Dez and maybe even add another wide receiver through the draft or free agency. And, I think they'll give him some more weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the line, I mean, when Tyron Smith went out, the line just, it seemed like it fell apart, everything. I mean, you don't know. I know he's a free agent. Dez is a free agent in 2020, but there's talk that he could be cut or even traded. He needs to take a pay cut, in my opinion, but that's not here nor there. I'm not an NFL GM.
Dad stat. Dez Bryant is actually set to make $12.5 million this season, as well as 2019.
Yeah.
So he's. I don't see how he could really go anywhere. So I'm guessing by you saying that you think that Dak Prescott is going to improve his game, step his game up from this last season, would you say the same about Dez Bryant?
I think so. I think this would be a good time for them all to get together and try to figure out the chemistry. Not issues, but I'm sure you as a Dallas fan watch more games and see like they haven't quite connected as well as they could be. So I think, this would be a good time for them to work that out. And if they can find that chemistry, he's still a talented wide receiver that could eventually, go back to the way he was. But, he has had a couple bad injuries the past couple years. So he's probably a step slower than he, was earlier in his career. But to me, there's no reason why he couldn't still be a fantasy relevant wide receiver.
He's a jump ball kind of guy. Red zone, you throw it up, he'll go get it. But I don't think he's a separation. I think he needs another weapon opposite of him to help him out.
Yeah.
Another guy you mentioned in the story, Jordan Howard. What do you think?
Looking at him, like he still did well for fantasy. He didn't quite meet his ADP, and that's where I think he kind of fell as a bust. Is a lot of people were taking him, at least in redraft, in that early round, and I know a lot of people with Dynasty, were looking for him to be one of their top running backs, but he just didn't quite live up to those expectations. I think that had a lot to do with John Fox's offense, and they fed him the ball a lot, but when you run the ball so many times and your quarterback only throws it less than 10 times, the defenses are going to act on that and they're going to stop them. So I think, with Matt Nagy, he's going to come in, freshen things up. I think they're going to stop trying to throw him the ball at all because they've shown that A, he can't catch, and B, they have Tariq Cohen. So I think he's going to be a strictly running back who, with this new offense, is going to be able to be an effective ball player.
Yeah, we had Derek Brown on a few weeks ago, and he's buying all the Chicago Bears offensive guys, and I can't disagree. I think Howard has a bounce back year. I think Cam Meredith is another guy that's going to be fine if he's healthy. I like what Nagy brings to the Bears.
Brandon, in your opinion, who's going to end up being a better value then in 2018, Jordan Howard or Tariq Cohen? Better
That is
value.
a good question. Better value.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably still Tariq Cohen. He is still going to get all those catches. I think Matt Nagy is going to find a big role for him in their offense. Like we'll talk about later, the wide receiver pool for free agents is lower. So I think Chicago isn't going to have as many options to go out and get a wide receiver. So I think Tariq Cohen is going to become a very important role in their passing offense.
A big one. I just came off the market yesterday. Jarvis Landry was tagged by the Dolphins. He's not going anywhere.
Awful. Simply awful.
Yeah, he was somebody I pigeonholed to go to Chicago. Like I thought he would be a good fit there. But
I agree. Yeah.
Anywhere other than Miami.
yeah.
They disrespected that dude so much. He's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
You said he was better than OBJ.
I said he's just as talented as OBJ.
Yeah. I don't agree.
That's fine. I don't care if you do.
So, Landry's gone. Like you mentioned, the wide receiver class just got a little thin. It looks like guys like Allen Robinson's probably going to get tagged. Dez Bryant may get cut, so that may help.
Dez Bryant isn't going to cut. That will not happen.
He may get cut. I'm going to come back to the show if he does get cut and
literally
and call you
zero
on it.
chance.
I don't know if there's 0% chance, but another guy, Justin, you liked as a bounce back guy, Demaryius Thomas.
I don't know if I like him as a bounce back guy. I did mention that he's somebody that people should consider a bounce back candidate. That offense in Denver was absolutely atrocious this year. They couldn't really figure anything out. And there was rumors, I guess, that since Demaryius Thomas changed up his diet, that was actually the reason for some of his poor play, which I think is just crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know how much I'd really invest in Demaryius Thomas shares right now. I don't know where he ends up next year, if he's going to be a Bronco or not. And quite frankly, until they figure out their quarterback situation, I don't know if I'd feel safe investing really much of anything.
So if they go out and get Cousins,
then I think his stock goes up, but it wouldn't go up dramatically. I mean, what wide receivers has Cousins had that, like, has he ever had a guy that ended the season as a wide receiver 1, maybe a wide receiver 2? I mean, it doesn't. I know that Cousins doesn't really elevate many players.
I don't.
At least not in Washington.
Brandon, do you have those stats off the top of your head?
No, I'm.
I don't.
No, I have the Addison Hayes. I have his.
Oh yes,
I have that up right now.
Nice. That is not a great website.
It is. I had heard about it, but I went back and listened to the interview you did with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been using that ever since.
It's
like,
great.
I can't believe I never knew about this. I'm so mad. Like, I would have used this so much last year.
He just launched it. I mean, we had him on.
Just did.
We had him on the week that he launched it. We saw it, loved it, wanted him on. I mean, it's been great. I mean, I've used it looking up stats, and it's awesome. For you, Demaryius Thomas is 30. He's still relatively young in terms of wide receiver.
Yeah, 1 year older than Dez Bryant.
That's right.
And he is scheduled to make $14 million this. $8.5 million plus a $4 million option bonus. I'm not sure what that entails, but 2019 he's scheduled to make $19 million or $14 million. I'm sorry.
And then a free agent.
So he's likely going to be a Bronco for at least another year. We'll see what happens there.
Okay, one more guy, and I don't know why we're going to talk about this guy, but I just the upside for him was always there, and they always talked about him. CJ Prosise had 2 down years, injured a lot. Do you think he comes out of the funk?
I don't know. I still hold out hope for Thomas Rawls because I went to school with him.
Oh, nice.
So like we both went to Central Michigan University together. So I've always held out hope for him to like take over the backfield, but I'm letting that hope go now. I think Prosise still could have a role. I think he'll he has a chance to at least come back as the pass catching back next year.
Yep.
And we'll see what that all is going to happen. I think Seattle still has a lot of moves to make, because they only have him and I believe Chris Carson on contract this upcoming year. So they could bring in somebody else,
right.
or even if they bring back Rawls and Lacey back or whomever.
Lacey's
I think
not coming back. I don't think Lacey's coming. I don't think Lacey's in the league. I think he's an XFL candidate.
Somebody will sign him.
But I think I still think they'll give Procise a shot, but honestly, he'll be a bench stash and hope and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think Matt and I mentioned on a much earlier show, we were talking about some strategies, and this is a prime example of one thing that we talked about, where if you have a group that's very a position on a team that's very
similar in talent.
Well, yeah, similar in talent, but kind of almost like clogged. You know what I mean? Like nobody can really take the lead. You really, in those drafts, those startups, you want to take at least one of those guys as just a stash. I mean, you don't want to invest much into it, but you want to take them. So we're talking Chris Carson, CJ Procise, Mike Davis, Thomas Rawls, and McKissick. I mean, taking one of those guys absolutely makes sense at the right part of a draft.
I got Procise. I did a startup recently. I think I got him in like round 22.
Yeah,
so,
I mean
it's that's my lottery ticket. If he blows up and he's the pass catching back, great. And if not, he's waiver wire fodder.
Yeah, I think he's one of those like lottery ticket guys where he could make a big difference, or even if he doesn't, he stays on your bench.
Right. So
free agent.
We're gonna look ahead here. You're working on a series, and I love the idea. I think it's amazing. You're looking at free agency versus the draft for teams with specific needs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day at work. I was sitting at my desk thinking about non-work related things.
That's where I get all my best thinking done, is at work about other things that aren't work.
But I was like, for another site I had worked on, I had been doing some mock drafts, and I was thinking, for some teams that are looking to go with a fantasy relevant position early in the draft, is it better for them to go for a rookie prospect, or is it better for them to go for a free agent? Because these teams that are going after Kirk Cousins, like the Jets, they're a rebuilding team. Does it really make sense for them to get him? Or if you look at a team like the Broncos, where realistically he could put them back in Super Bowl contention if he goes there.
Right.
So it just got me thinking, and I went in and I looked at all of the teams that are in need of quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers that are going to look to draft one early. And I sat and I grabbed all the big prospects, all the possible free agents, everyone's cap space, looked at the direction of their franchise, and I'm trying to see if there's a way I can, put all this information together to see, what they should do and what players they could potentially go after.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Let's just throw out it ties in with our free agent prediction game and kind of where we think guys are going to go. So if you had to guess, Kirk Cousins, where's he going to end up? I guess where makes the most sense with the research and everything that you've done?
Based on the research I've done, I think if he wants to win, I think the best spot is Denver. Denver right now has about $25 million left in cap space. They could make some moves, to make that go up. But I think for them, they present the best chance to win. But if Kirk Cousins wants to get paid, Cleveland with, their
boatloads of
massive
cap space.
I think they're going to throw the most money at him, and it really just depends on if Kurt wants to make the money or if he wants to win. I think I think Denver would be first, with maybe Minnesota at 2 and Cleveland at 3.
I read somewhere, and I don't know if it was on Twitter or Roto World, wherever I saw it, and that the Jets could make a play and they could offer him $60 million year one and kind of front load the contract because they've got cap space now, and they could and add other players with it, and that'd be a crazy amount for a quarterback to make in one season.
Oh yeah, and you figure if they have about $80 million in cap right now.
Yeah.
So if they spend all that, they're not really going to have a lot left over to put any pieces around him, and I don't see why he would want to go there besides the money.
Right.
But I think that's his free agency is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
I think he's the best free agent we've had probably since maybe Peyton Manning.
At quarterback.
Yeah, that quarterback.
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to make an impact and can stick around for a few years.
If someone offered me $60 million to do anything, I think it'd be hard to turn down.
Yeah, for sure.
There's rumors that AJ McCarron is actually going to demand as much as Mike Glennon got.
Good luck.
Was it the season before last?
Yes. What, he get $16 million 1 year?
I believe it's around the $45 million range.
He's gonna get cut.
Well, yeah, but AJ McCarron kind of every time that he's had a chance to play, he's looked all right.
He's a Cleveland bridge quarterback. I just have a feeling that he ends up in Cleveland.
I have a feeling he ends up as a Jet.
Brandon?
Jets, Jet.
What do you think?
I think he will end up at one of those teams, whichever one of those teams doesn't get like the Kirk Cousins or Case Keenum. I think they're not going to settle for AJ McCarron, but I think that's where they're going to go. They're going to put their money in him and go young.
Yeah, you almost have to. I like McCarron. I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer or lead a team to a Super Bowl, but I think he's a good quarterback. He helps the team.
I think it makes sense for a team that's going to draft a guy, let him play for a year.
Not for the
two.
money that he's going to demand, though.
With the same money that Mike Glennon got, and they drafted a quarterback and let
I'm
him
just
play.
saying. I don't know. I just something tells me McCarron's going to end up on a team that actually plans to start him for a year or two at least. I don't think he's a gap fill kind of guy.
Cleveland tried to trade for him. They tried to trade a second and a third, so I think that's the obvious fit.
Well, yeah, but nobody wants to play in Cleveland. That's the thing. Now he's going to have the choice. So,
yeah, I think it was funny, like being here in Cincinnati when that happened, because people have been clamoring for him to start over Andy Dalton.
Exactly. I was one of them.
So like,
I can't blame him.
so like, I think he is going to want to go somewhere where they're going to want to start him for at least a couple years. So he'll be another interesting one to see, if a team can't swing Kirk Cousins, maybe they'll get McCarron for a couple years and try their luck.
Now, Brandon, with us being in the Midwest, we have a lot of really terrible Chiefs fans that listen to our show, and they don't think their team can do no wrong.
They're good people, but
no, they're not. So, where do you stand on Pat Mahomes being the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs this year?
I like Pat Mahomes. I didn't keep up a lot with him when he first came out, but I do like what he has as a potential quarterback. He seems like he's in a good spot with Andy Reid, and that coaching staff has shown that they can develop a good quarterback. As far as a fantasy asset, I'm not quite sure. I think he still is going to be, he's going to be a first-year guy next year, where he's going to make some mistakes and he's not going to make the correct play all the time. But I think his ceiling is pretty high.
I do too.
I'm just not sure how that's going to go. Yeah.
I'm not a big Tyreek Hill fan of him as a person,
Right.
but as a fantasy asset, when I heard that Pat Mahomes was going to be starting, I was pretty excited.
he can throw the deep ball.
Yeah, he can throw
Yeah.
a deep ball, and that's really what Tyreek Hill does best. I mean, he made it look like Alex Smith could throw a deep ball once in a while.
Yeah.
So that dude is fast, and he hasn't lost a step yet, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about Mahomes. Is there any other like maybe a buy low candidate that you're kind of looking at, maybe trying to grab in most of your startups this year?
That is also a good question.
I hate to use the term sleeper.
Right.
But everybody uses it.
Let me see. I think a good guy to go after. Actually, hold on, give me 1 second.
No, you're fine.
Absolutely.
I put you on the spot. I know I did.
What about you, Justin? Who you got? Who's your buy low?
Well, I mean, to keep it, I hate to go from Chiefs to Chiefs, but I think that Spencer Ware has a lot of value and has been completely forgotten about. I really do.
Yeah, we've mentioned that, but you've mentioned that on the show before.
I'm excited about it. And another guy, like, I'm really high on Juju, and I think that Juju is still kind of considered a little undervalued. I mean, I'd give up a first-round pick for Juju, like, easily now.
Yeah.
If it's not, like, a top 2 pick, it's easy for me.
I like, and it's another sophomore wide receiver, but I really like Chris Godwin. I mean, that's kind of my buy low.
I am so out on Godwin.
I know.
Matt.
You've said that before, too.
I am so out.
You saw what he could do when he stepped in for Jackson and when Mike Evans was out towards the end of the year. And, he's a guy that I like coming into the season. And, I mean, that's my buy low. If I can get him anywhere, I'm trying to get him.
Speaking of terrible calls by Matt, how do you feel about Devontae Parker, Brandon?
He was a guy I liked when he first came out. I think he was like those years with him in Louisville with Teddy Bridgewater were awesome.
Sure.
But he still hasn't lived up to to his expectations in Miami. He's been hurt a lot. So, I mean, that obviously hampers his stock. But if he can get on the field and, he's shown that he can do well, but I think his body is preventing him from getting on the field, and that's, going to hurt his value.
Well, and I do know that he's the kind of guy that's banged up, but he does play. He hasn't missed a game in his NFL career.
Who has it?
Devontae. Well, I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong guy. I'm looking at the wrong guy.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's missed so many games.
Oh, these damn Max! I tell you.
I still like Parker, but I think the if they really are bringing Landry back and they didn't tag him to trade him, Parker's value is going to drop.
Yeah, Parker missed 3 games last year, but the 2 seasons prior to that, his rookie and sophomore season, if you will, he only missed 1 game each.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's banged up a bit, but he does play.
He plays. Yeah.
Yeah, I do give him that. He still does try to play through any ailments he has. And that was my thought too, I thought with Jarvis leaving, I mean, he was somebody I was going to look to invest in, but with Landry coming back, and it just seems like they're going to run the whole offense back with Tannehill again. And
if I'm a Parker owner and I just shudder at the idea of Jarvis leaving if I'm a Parker owner, because Jarvis actually draws attention from a defense, and Parker just, even with that, hasn't been able to, excel.
Yeah, I thought this was his year to break out. It was a year 3. He had a quarterback in Jay Cutler that usually throws a deep ball, targets his big guys, and it just didn't happen. So, no. I mean, I like him, but I'm down on him. I mean, we've talked about that and how I've had it. He's a guy that when he came out, I drafted him and I wanted to get him everywhere. And in startups that I'm doing in new leagues, I avoid him. But in the leagues where I drafted him, I can't trade him. I can't drop him. Like, I still have faith in him, but I'm avoiding him in new leagues.
Yeah.
Brandon, speaking of leagues, how many dynasty leagues are you actively in right now?
I am currently I'm in 2.
Wow.
I just did a startup about a month ago.
Oh.
And then I did one last year at the last second. I had found one that I started in, but I'm still trying to get in, or I'm still trying to find opportunities to get in the dynasty game. I do like this form of football. I think this form of fantasy. I think it's a lot more fun to have the bigger rosters and keep in mind all these players, and it makes you do more research to look at some of the smaller name guys, and
it makes it year round.
Yeah, that too. I think, like I pulled up the sheet of the startup I just did, and I'm looking back on the players I picked, and trying to think ahead. And
isn't that fun? We do that in the league we're in together, and we're going into year 4, and
I don't know.
Calvin Johnson was a first round pick over guys like OBJ and Mike
that was
Evans.
Our first
That's
dynasty
what I mean.
ever. Yeah.
It's just, I think he mentioned his first one. I think it's fun to go back and look at those, and it's just the first pick in that league was Des Bryant, the second pick was
Terrible.
Eddie Lacy.
Terrible.
Andrew Luck went 4th overall. I mean,
Kind of terrible.
it's fun to look back and see how uninformed I think a lot of the guys in that league were.
Yeah. Yeah, those are always fun. I remember the first fantasy pick I ever made was Chris Johnson back in like 2008. And
He had
I
a good year,
remember.
though, didn't he?
Yeah.
CJ
No, I'm
2K,
saying,
yeah.
yeah.
Justin's,
I think that
Justin's
it got
first
me
pick
hooked.
was Chad Ochocinco in the first round.
Excuse me, it was Chad Johnson.
Oh, at the
it was
time, I'm
before
sorry.
he was Ocho
Chad
Cinco, so it was back when he was good. As soon as he changed the name, that was just like jumping shark in the happy days. Like he was good before that, I swear.
Yeah.
Never got that gold jacket. Well, Brandon, we just want to let everybody know. We want to thank you for your time, but we want to let everybody know that you are now officially a content creator on the Dynasty Dads website. We're very happy to have you.
Welcome on board.
We're people seem to enjoy your sophomore slump piece that's on there now, and we know that we have this other article coming up pretty soon,
Yeah.
which we are going to just
I'm going to promote the crap. I love the series.
yeah, it's a
idea.
very good idea.
Thank you. I'll have quarterbacks done tonight. I think I'm going to work on that and finish it up after this, and then it should be good to go.
All right.
Awesome. Hey Brandon, do you have anything? Any shout outs? Anything you want to plug before you go?
I don't think so. I have a lot of, when you look at my Twitter, I do have a lot of projects. I write for, I covered the Lions on Gridiron Experts. I have a couple basketball projects I do. And then, but you know, I balance them all and try to keep them together, but
Red Wings fan.
yes, they're my number one team, even though they're awful this year.
So for all of our listeners out there, the best way to follow you and to connect with you is going to be at your Twitter handle, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
at Brandon Sysak, which is SYSAK.
yes. Yep. That's the place I go. I do a lot of my or almost all of my connections with fantasy football, basketball, football. It's where I do all my connections.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks again for being on the show. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to your work, your content, and we'll have you on again soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again for having me, and I'm glad you guys like it.
And there you have it, the definitive interview with Brandon Sysak,
Sysak.
brand new contributor to the Dynasty Dads website, which is dynastydads.com.
I'm happy to have him on board.
Absolutely. He is an asset to our website.
I know I said it a couple of times, and I'm really looking forward to that series. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he comes up with and what teams should do, whether it's free agency or the draft, and what works best.
Brandon's a really good dude, people. If you're on Twitter, you got to give him a follow. He does a lot of work for plenty of different publications.
Yeah, he does.
And it's all really good stuff. Highly recommended.
Yep.
So, Matt, that was, I guess that's the show.
Oh, no. I have a story.
Oh,
I have a startup horror story.
a startup.
A startup.
Matt, it's February.
Well, there's still, I don't know if you know this, but leagues start daily.
It's terrible. It's too early. If you're doing startups in February, you're doing it wrong. But
Well,
anyways,
you can draft so in the startup, 10-man, huge rosters, tight end bonus, 2 quarterback. You can draft your draft slot, not your draft pick. So you can draft slot 101, then you get 201, 301, 401. So we get into this draft, 10 teams.
wait. How serious is this league?
What do you mean? How serious is this league?
Well, is there a buy-in? Is it free? What is it?
Oh, it's a free league. I know you hate free leagues.
Why are you doing free leagues?
I like the price tag on them.
That's terrible. No one's committed in free fantasy
Well,
leagues, especially free dynasty leagues.
Funny you should say that because you're right. Found out the hard way that no one's committed.
You should be doing mock drafts. That's what everybody in those free leagues should be doing.
That's what
especially in
this free
February,
league basically
is doing mock drafts.
turned into. So
Terrible.
It's on GroupMe. Have you ever used GroupMe?
Absolutely, I have GroupMe. Yeah,
That's awesome. I've
All the
never
MFL
had.
stuff.
I really like it.
a lot of my MFL leagues use
So
GroupMe.
I like GroupMe. It's the one thing that I got out of this experience. Anyway, so this league, we're in the draft, and this guy, I don't want to use his name. So we get in the draft.
Use his name.
I'm not going to use his name.
What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
Rick.
No.
Damn it.
I think his name was Matt, but I don't know Twitter handle or anything like that.
I'm sure it's going to be something that a Matt would do. Go ahead.
I hate you.
What this douche do?
So he, not me, just the league in general. Like he got into this draft and traded some picks, whatever. So he traded up to 10 and he took Alvin Kamara. And then about midway through the draft, he traded Alvin Kamara and his 2018 first and his 2019 first and 2020 first for Todd Gurley.
Oh, I hate this story already.
Oh, yeah. So whatever. We're like, okay, your team, whatever, you do whatever you want. It doesn't make sense, but that's fine. So then 2 rounds later in the draft, he quits the league.
Yeah.
He just quit, just up and said, I'm out. See you later.
Yeah. Which is what you should have did before you even started.
So he quit. Like he quit the draft is still going on, and like I feel like I can see this guy's face, and he just comes in. So when his pick is up, he left the group me. He's not going to be in the league. He keeps drafting. So like we're in round 28, and he drafted Peyton Manning in round 28, and then he drafted another. He just made stupid picks, and like everyone in the group is like, "Who is this guy?" Like, and apparently a couple of guys know him. They're like, "This isn't like him. I can't believe he's." But come to find out, he's quit other leagues, and he's just one of those people that likes to mess up leagues. Anyway, so it almost turned into a mock draft because it feels like most of the guys now are like, "This is dumb. Someone's screwing around. We're already out."
So you tell that terrible story, and I think we need to find some kind of silver lining. So what did you learn from joining such a waste of your time?
Don't be a jerk.
No. Don't join.
Flea flicker.
No. Don't join free leagues.
I'm not saying it.
That's terrible. That's the kind of people that you end up with.
I know, but it's fun to kind of.
No. If you want to play for free, you do mock drafts. Mock drafts are free. That's great.
Here's the fun thing about free leagues.
They're actually useful.
Is you can find new leagues. I've never played in a tight end premium league, so it's a free league. I'm figuring that out.
But no, if the whole league doesn't take it seriously, like they do money leagues, which I know sometimes there's people that don't, but
I can name a few.
But throwing shade, but. I don't know. It's just if the whole league doesn't take it seriously, it just the league already loses all of its value.
It's not as I don't know. I like it. It's fun for me. I mean, it fits my price range with 2 little ones.
That was fun for you?
No, that wasn't fun. But I'm in another free league where I've built a monster, and it's fun to be in that league and have a monster.
Is it fun to beat teams when they don't have a full lineup set?
I have never run into that. I've never had a team that I've played against.
I know we don't swear on the show, but I came really close when you said that. Like, I'm calling BS.
I haven't. I'm serious.
So you just come across people that don't draft or draft Peyton Manning.
That guy
you
is
don't
no
come
longer
across
in the
you don't
league.
come across people that don't set their full lineup in a free league.
I've never had that happen. No. I haven't. You think I'm lying? I'm not lying to you.
I don't think you're lying purposely.
Well, I'm sure there are people out there that don't set their lineups, but I have not run into them. Anyway, so free league. If you're in a free league, they're not all that bad.
If you're in a free league, you shouldn't be. First of all, unless it's like a family league, I get it, or friends league, whatever. But if you're in a free league with complete randos online, you are wasting your time.
I know a few of these guys from Twitter and other leagues.
That don't count. Wasting your time.
I don't think it's a waste. You got to take something positive from every experience.
Yeah, you did. You learned not to join free leagues.
That's not positive.
That is positive. Now you're not going to waste your time again.
I learned that the 101 slot went way too early.
Oh, they had like the draft.
Where do you think?
Where do you think draft picks?
Where do you think the 101 slot went? 10-man league.
No, yikes. 10-man league's also
10-man free league.
I'm guessing with all the Barkley love, early second.
Oh man, first round.
Late first.
6.
Yikes.
Ahead of Le'Veon Bell.
Why are we talking about this free league? I'm done with this already. Okay, so that's our show. My goodness, you wasted a lot of my time.
I did not.
I'm mad. I'm not even in the league, and I'm mad.
Take something positive from it.
Yeah, I did. I learned a lesson. Never listen to Matt talk about his free leagues again.
They're fun.
That's our show. We are the Dynasty Dads. Another special shout out. Thank you to Brandon Sysak for coming on the show and for all of his great work. It's going to be on the Dynasty Dads website, dynastydads.com. Again, check us out on Twitter. We are at Dynasty Dads. We are on Facebook at Dynasty Dads. And guess what, Matt? We're on iTunes at
Dynasty Dads.
Wow.
I
Look
guessed,
at that.
And I got it right.
You're on a roll.
Yay.
So that does it.
Yeah.
We will we'll see you next week. Do we have a guest?
Working on a guest. I don't have a confirmed guest, but we are working on a guest.
Okay.
So I'll leave a little tease there.
Heyo. All right, we'll catch you next time. Peace.
God bless.
Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and follow us on Twitter at Dynasty Dads. Visit us at our website, dynastydads.com, for articles, news, and notes, Dynasty Dads gear, and more.